So when something like that happens, I don't assume it's just Oda like, oh, this will be random and goofy and stupid.
That's exactly what I assume.
I know it is, and that's the problem. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Onesie Piece podcast, where two grown men dress up in onesies and argue about a cartoon.
I'm Estevan, and I hate anime.
I'm Wade, and I love it.
I've never seen One Piece before. I'm watching it for the first time blind, and then we jump on here and argue about shit that I hate.
Yeah, and I've seen all of One Piece, and Look, I'm gonna let you know right now. He's a fucking asshole. Don't worry about him. Worry about me.
No, that's fair.
Because if
right.
you come in here, you say, I love One Piece. This is gonna be great. Fuck this guy. All right.
Sometimes I make a point.
You.
Sometimes I have a point.
Sometimes you have a point. Sometimes.
Listen, if you also hate One Piece and are jumping in here like, oh, I want to see someone hate on One Piece, I got you. I got you.
And today, I think, is going to be filled with some discussion for sure. Because we're not doing Alabasta, that we're waiting until after the holiday for that. So instead, we have decided what we're going to do is my top five favorite moments up until the Alabasta arc, and your top five least favorite
moments.
Worst moments, hatred-filled rants.
Yeah, that's accurate. Basically,
so
the top five moments up to this point that I thought were dumb.
Yeah, and I think you're dumb.
I think you're dumb.
What do you think's the chance, like percentage? Give me a percent. What do you think's the percent chance that there's one moment that is shared? It's one of my favorites and it's one of your least favorites.
Honestly, looking at my list, I don't think you have any moments that coincide with mine.
So you think 0% chance?
I think 0% chance.
Wow. That's a ballsy move.
As much as I hope it happens, I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen. That's
No.
fair. No confidence whatsoever. I'll give it the 5-er. I'll give it the 5%.
All right.
So I can at least claim victory in the end. If it happens, I mean, just saying.
All right, yeah, that's fair. That's like going on The Price is Right and saying the same price plus 1 penny.
No, that would be 1%.
Plus a nickel.
Exactly.
There we go. Okay.
Although I think you probably got a higher chance at winning this regardless. So, I mean, we're going to try and keep this short and sweet. What do you think? Should we start with best or should we, more specifically, should we end with what I feel is the best moment or end with what you feel is the worst moment?
We should end with what you think is the best moment.
Okay. So you should go first. You should start us off with your number 5, your least favorite moment.
Narrowing it down to 5 was a challenge. So
tell me about
number 5 spot is taken by Booger Boy.
Booger Boy.
Booger Boy.
Booger Boy at oh god, what was the name of it? The Town of Thieves, or just Booger Boy as a character?
Booger Boy as a character.
Every point.
Listen, man.
So for those wondering, just real quick, if you haven't pieced it together, Booger Boy is Mr. 5.
Mr. 5, yeah.
Flicks boogers, makes them explode, but it's not
There's
just boogers.
Nothing I enjoyed about any screen time he had. Whenever he was on, after he started before he started flicking boogers, he was fine. He's Mr. 5. He's a mercenary or something, bounty hunter, whatever. I don't care. But then he starts flicking boogers, and I'm like, I've had it with this guy. I don't want to see him anymore. He disgusts me. I don't enjoy this. This isn't funny.
I don't know. I think it's pretty funny.
I thought it was stupid.
If he flicked a booger at you and it exploded, I think you'd feel differently.
I'd be dead.
You'd be dead.
And I'd prefer that over being experiencing him any further.
So the question becomes, would you rather have a booger flicked on you that does not explode, or a booger flicked on you that does explode? Just get it over with.
Yeah.
End it at that point.
Just kill me.
So Mr. 5 would be the ideal situation. If I flicked a booger on you, it'd be...
I'd be really mad, and I'd wish I'd be dead.
All right. That's fair. I don't love Booger Boy. I got really nothing else to say about Booger Boy. He's pretty forgettable. I do like his ingenuity. I've praised his ingenuity in determining that boogers are something that is a part of your body and you can make explode. But then we also found out he can just put air from his body in a gun, and it kind of ruined the ingenuity a little bit.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
right. You can only make so many boogers.
We can only make so many boogers. I don't know. I feel like at any point in time, you could probably reach up in there. But then you also, what if it's a gooey booger? And you can't flick that thing.
What if you have a runny nose, and it's just like...
Yeah, see, I didn't take that into account. It just
it is reliable,
work. It wouldn't
though.
be feasible anymore.
Putting your breath into a gun and shooting that's reliable.
That is reliable. You always have breath, unless you're dead.
Exactly, in which case you're not fighting anymore.
In which case you're not fighting anymore. Number 5 moment for me. Number 5! Have it come up on the screen right here. And have a cool rotating world, and it goes... and then Luffy's hat spins around, and Gomu Gomu punches you.
You hear that, Duncan?
Right in the nuts. and you fly off the screen. That's going to be the edit.
Thanks, editor.
Old Duncan's going to handle it. My number 5 best, favorite moment up until now was Chow Chow pet store burning down. Not
that was that sequence, or the moment the pet store burns down, because that's pretty sick of you.
Not the sequence, the whole how it all came together. I didn't want Chow Chow's pet store to burn down, but
so you did not get pleasure from watching the pet store burn down. It's more of the moment.
Yes.
What
I did not laugh with joy as I watched Chow Chow in pain sitting in front of the
making that clear.
But I liked what it did to the story. I liked how it made me feel things. It made me feel real sad things watching him just sit there. The last thing he had, his owner's dead. And now the only thing he's been able to protect, he's now unable to protect it, and it gets burnt to the ground. It's just a real screwed up thing to do. It brought an emotional reaction out in me, and I like an emotional... If you can elicit an emotional reaction from me, specifically sadness, usually you're good. Usually you did it right.
And isn't that what this is all about? Storytelling is to, help you experience emotions in your own way. If a story makes you feel an emotion, did it not do its job?
Depends, I guess. In your case, I don't think the emotion Oda was going for was anger 24/7 as you read through.
So,
or as you watched.
In this case, it did not do its job. I stand by my statement.
But I agree. And so that's why Chow Chow's pet store gets the number 5 for me.
I think what we can all agree on is that dogs are better than people.
Yeah. Without a doubt. It's not even that's just a fact.
Yeah.
You're just stating a fact.
Yep.
Grasshoppers can jump.
And bunny rabbits, too.
Most things, in fact.
Elephants can't.
Elephants can't jump even a little. They can't even give a little...
No, they're too
But
stupid.
Dumbo could fly.
Yeah, he skipped
who's the real winner?
I don't know anymore.
You got really quiet all of a sudden, by the way.
I did?
Mike's been doing that lately.
Uh-oh. You
Yeah.
do that too, to be honest.
Mine does?
Yeah.
Oh.
Once in a while, you'll just get really quiet.
Yeah, it's super weird. I kind of hate it. Oh, well. Number 4. What's your number 4?
Sanji simpin'.
Sanji simping just in general?
Well, there's one
Any
specific
moment?
moment. Yeah, I mean, I hate it all, but there's one very specific moment that I absolutely despised.
All right.
It was in... What was that last arc we saw with all the snow?
Drum Island?
Drum Island. It was in Drum Island arc.
Uh-huh.
Sanji and Nami just fell into the snow. This was after Nami was like brought back to life by the witch. And Sanji was in the snow. He was getting up, and Nami's like, "Aren't you cold?" And Sanji says, "Yes. The only thing that'll make it better would be laying my face in your soft, billowy." And then she smacks him as the camera's zooming into her breasts.
Yes.
That made me super uncomfortable. I did not like that, and really took his simping to another level. Very uncomfortable level.
I am in agreement with you on this one. I am just in total agreement with you because Sanji's simping sometimes just goes too far.
It does.
Like why can't...
That's some workplace harassment stuff right there.
It's like there's always that character in the anime though. Like
it is, and
it's like a trope,
right.
But yeah, I don't like it. It doesn't add anything.
Me either.
And it's like you can just be like gentlemanly. I like that. I'm fine with that. Like gentlemanly to a fault, right? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But this is like, on one hand, he acts gentlemanly. Is that a word? Gentleman?
Sure. Why not?
On one hand, he acts like it because he's like, I'll protect women. I'll never hit a woman. I'll always kind of like protect them. But then on the other hand, he's over there like basically sexually assaulting them. What the fuck, Sanji?
Their next crew member needs to be an HR rep.
Yeah, maybe they will be. Maybe HR rep. That wasn't one you mentioned, but
no,
it's probably an HR rep. We'll see what other kind of simping situation Sanji gets himself into.
Can't wait.
How'd you like that alliteration?
That's pretty good.
I wish I could have done better. All right.
No. You did good.
Thanks, man. That really means a lot to me.
It's
the support system that keeps me going right here. Everybody.
Remind me after the pandemic to give you a gold star.
We'll put it right here. Just a huge gold star. It's like lights up. It's just the most obnoxious fucking thing in the world.
Put sequins on it so every time you move it just...
And right in the middle is just Sanji's face. With hard eyes. There he goes, simping again. Speaking of Sanji simping...
Is that part of your favorite list?
My number 4 is Sanji simping. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Okay. Why would I put that as my number 4?
Because you're an obvious pervert.
Obviously. No, but number 4 was Sanji's backstory.
That was good.
I liked it. I especially liked it in the manga. We talked about kind of the differences there. It certainly was fine in the anime, but something about him chopping his foot off with the rock and eating it just stole my heart. Just seemed really badass. Seemed like a real, just real cool thing for him to do. Why didn't he do his hand? Because then he couldn't cook.
Yeah, obviously, in that moment, his priorities were, I need to cook again.
So the thing that took it above and beyond was him just straight up taking a rock to his leg. But really the whole thing was, again, it goes back to that emotion. I felt it in this situation. Where they were just stuck on that rock for like 90 days. And
it's a very, I don't know how else to phrase it, but a pretty real situation. Like, people have found themselves in situations like that, stranded without food. You hear stories about it throughout history, like in all over the place, not just the sea. So it's very human. It's a very human story. It
is, and therefore you can relate to it, and you see them trying their best, and the truth is not everybody makes it out of that situation.
It's true.
But they got lucky, and they did. And Sanji, he might be simping around, but he cooks a meal better because of that moment.
Yeah, I mean,
he cooks a meal better. It grounded him.
That doesn't dismiss or justify the simping, but you're
No,
right.
it doesn't. But, it gives him more character development. And
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoyed it. I felt like you didn't really get a backstory with Usopp, and Zoro's was kind of cool, but it just hadn't been taken to that level up until Sanji's.
Right. I see what you're saying.
So, real enjoyable there. So, that was my number 4.
Cool. All right, this brings us to my number 3 least favorite moment. And, man, I hated this. The moment when Chopper holds up his hands, his hooves, and zeroes in on the house or whoever he was fighting.
You really did hate that moment.
I hated it so. I thought it was so dumb. I was cringing. I felt embarrassment inside of me that I was watching this. I will
why?
hold that
I need
moment.
you to elaborate on why this hits you so hard.
I thought it was so... He's a reindeer, and now he's going into all this cyber technic, like zeroing in robotics with this sonar into this other person to identify his weak points, which turns out just happens to be an uppercut to the chin.
Maybe
Really
he was just doing
needed
it to
that
be cool,
power.
though.
Really needed that power to figure that out, didn't you little reindeer?
An uppercut to the chin. Everybody's weakness, you mean?
Yes.
Ain't nobody wanting to get an uppercut to the chin. So, on one hand, so with the fusion, we talked about the fusion, which was the same fight.
Yes.
That was clearly satire that you did not pick up on.
I wanted to put that on the list, but you told me it was satire, so I'm leaving it off the list.
It was 100% satire. I want to say the same for this, but I actually don't see it if it is. It's stupid. He might have known it was, ridiculous. But, it didn't really come off as satire. It was a very serious power that Chopper suddenly had and was able to use. And cybernetics. He's a reindeer. Nothing about it lines up. I'll give you that. I just didn't expect. I didn't realize just how deep your hatred went for this moment.
This entire fight scene for that arc, I despised, but that was just the cherry on top. I hated it worse than just the fact that they were fighting a house man.
The house man was pretty funny.
So dumb.
I got nothing else to say about Chopper's frickin' dingle dangle. I can only do this with my left hand. I can only do the Star Trek with my left hand. Because you put yours together. Look at it. Mine looks even stupider than Chopper's. I don't know why. I can only do it with my left. It's really interesting.
Can you do this?
But what are you even doing?
Just bringing your pinky down.
Wait. No, I can't. It looks so easy. It looks like you have a little baby pinky. What is that?
I can only do it with one hand.
It's really gross looking.
I'm just bending my pinky right there.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Leave a like if you also don't like it.
Or leave a like if you do like it.
Just leave a like, please.
Please.
We're desperate. Can't you see? Somebody acknowledge us. All right, my number 3.
Editing.
It's not so much a moment as, it is. Luffy's restraint within Drum Island. Restraint from fighting. Starting with Vivi getting shot, and all the way up to him getting to the top of the mountain, where it essentially ends after that. Him setting aside he had to really go out of his comfort zone to get there. He wanted to fight him. Vivi got shot. He wanted to fight them more. It shows that he can listen. It's kind of the first moment where I really felt like Luffy can listen. He's not just always going off. And when it comes down to it, when his friends are in danger, he's there. And he's willing, even though he might be outside making a snowman, he's still going to have fun with it. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of fun. No, just, again, emotional. Just, it was awesome to see Luffy in that light. I know you hate Luffy.
I do.
But I do think this was the second moment. This is the second moment where, like, we really should see Luffy shine. And so, I love it.
I remember watching that and thinking, I mentioned this during, like, that episode, too. Like, we're actually starting to see Luffy, like, take in information, process it, and make a decision based off of that. Yeah. Which I realize is a low bar to set.
I mean,
but he did it. He met it.
He did that with other things. What are you talking about?
Okay.
And whenever he fights, he takes in information. It's just other times that he struggles. But when he's fighting, he's somewhat strategic. He's kind of goofy strategic, but he, like, takes in what's happening around him, and he thinks of the best course of action about it. And that's how he wins. All he does is win.
Yeah.
We're going to get demonetized. My voice is just...
Yeah.
The spitting
you hit
image.
It. You nailed it.
And I'll admit, it made me happy that you finally had a moment where you were like, Luffy wasn't so bad. It made that moment that much better for me, because I was going in, I was raising my fists, I was ready. But you were like, no, he actually was pretty good here. So
see, I'm not just out here to shit on the show,
which is good. I was actually really worried that you've descended down some hole that you refuse to get out of.
I've dug myself a pit of spite.
Yeah, exactly. And now you're too prideful to climb out of it.
No. I'll give the show credit where it's due, and it was like due right there. Yeah, he does not deserve credit there.
Man, we are cruising.
We are
cruising for a bruising. All right.
What is this? Number 2?
This is number 2.
My number 2 least favorite moment is. Get a dart ready, because any Kobe moment.
even with like Helmeppo and Garp and all that.
Yeah, I hated that. I didn't mind Helmeppo. The Kobe side of it was terrible.
I don't understand, but
all he does is scream. And he's always just like on the edge of like falling off a cliff. Like, if he screams any louder, he will bust a nerve and die. He is moments away from a stroke at all times. He is going to die of high blood pressure someday. I hate Kobe.
Yes,
he gets on my nerves so much.
And yet he surrounds you.
I know.
Every stream he surrounds you.
This isn't my choice.
Only 86 more subs to go. I will say, well, I know one of your pet peeves is like the high-pitched screaming, which happens in anime fairly frequently, but specifically with Kobe, he really likes to do it. In the manga, I don't really get it as much, obviously, because I don't have his voice piercing my ears. I just don't remember him screaming like at all. I remember him screaming in the beginning, but in the Garp stuff, I don't remember him screaming even a little. But yeah. I mean, I will say that I remember really having disdain for Kobe when I was first watching One Piece. And reading through the manga, he's not as bad. He seems not as bad, and I really think it is his voice. I think it's the fact that his voice is whatever I choose it to be. That helps Kobe on my end.
I'm really worried, seeing as how we had that, like, flash sideways to see what's going on with Kobe and Helmeppo, that we're just going to continuously see Kobe sprinkled throughout the series. And that I just don't want.
What if Kobe joins the crew? Did you ever think of that? Just saying, anything's possible in the One Piece world. What would you do? What if Alabasta ended, Kobe showed up, and joined them in for the next 800 episodes? Every single episode involved Kobe. What if that's how it goes down?
I would then dig myself into a pit of disdain and hate. And I don't foresee myself coming out of it, to be honest with you.
Well, let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Let's just hope. Kobe is in the Grand Line right now.
Kobe is in the Grand Line. They are both in the Grand Line. Hey, at least Kobe's not the main character.
Yep, at least Kobe is not the main character.
So
I'll take my blessings where I can get them, I guess.
Let's put it on a scale. What, now that I brought it up, what do you think is the % chance that Kobe joins the crew?
Numbers are coming at me and they're disturbingly high.
It was something you never thought of before.
No.
Maybe he ends up being a real cool guy, though. What if it's one of those stories, like an underdog story?
Where they take a complete dweeb and he's a dweeb for a long time, but then all of a sudden he's cool?
Yeah.
I'll take it. Just...
Anything could happen in the One Piece world. Let's move on. My number 2. Oh, baby. Zoro versus Mihawk. I was shitting myself when this happened.
Oh, yeah?
I could not believe it. You know, I remember the first time watching it. Not even this time. I mean, I was excited for it this time around. But the first time around, it was presented in a way that, quite honestly, I've never seen presented in an anime before. Where you have just this huge threat come in out of the blue, completely destroy one of the main characters with absolute ease, and then just fucking leave. I was like, what the hell just happened? And I got thinking about it. And I kind of mentioned it in the Arlong arc, but I still looking back on what we know now, it just seems even better. You've had Zoro, who has blasted through the Arlong arc without issues. The only issues he had was the injuries that Mihawk gave him, right? Every single thing Zoro has done, he has met with absolute ease. He doesn't even get a scratch on him. And here, even now, you know, like, we're like 50? We're like 50 eps
almost
later.
100. Oh, yeah, eps later. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, he still hasn't, nobody has even been able to come close to beating him. Except this guy, who beat him with a freaking dagger. Like, it's insane. I love it. I absolutely love the way it's presented. I think it's really cool, and it's just an awesome moment. It is just an awesome moment. I know you don't feel the same way, but it's just, you gotta admit it's cool.
It is cool. I don't think it's like this huge, grandiose, like awesome moment, because like, I don't know, it's a thing with anime of limited ones that I've seen where you get into this like kind of power creep type thing, where you start off small, everyone is kind of like at the same level, and you can tell that there's struggles between them at relatively the same level. But then as time goes on, everyone's naturally like getting better, so they have to face bigger threats. And this goes on. This is a cycle.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, what does power mean anymore?
Well, see, I would argue that this goes against power creep even. Because he's introducing the power now. It's not creeping up at all. It's there. Like, it's already there. Like, the issue I personally have with power creep, because I agree with you, I hate power creep. I don't think people like power creep. It can get really annoying. And it's not a good, like, way to tell a story. But the issue I have with power creep is that a lot of the times it's like, here's a black box with an enemy in it. We defeat the enemy, we move on to the next black box. And now this enemy is slightly higher, now we have to learn how to slightly get even up to his level now. Blah, blah, blah. DBZ is kind of notorious for it, right? And not just DBZ, a lot of anime. So that's why I love this so much. We, like, aren't even 30 eps in and we're already being introduced to this huge threat somewhere down the line that could potentially happen, which to me really goes against what power creep is.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And so it's that world building piece of it where it's,
I do like the world building.
He just showed up for an episode and then beat the crap out of Zoro and then left. And it was like, what the hell? So, and I would also like to say that you said when we were entering the Grand Line, your ideal scenario would be that they fail, have to leave, and, like, reassess. I kind of feel like this moment was, like, similar to that. Zoro went in confident. He was like, I'm ready to take on the world's greatest swordsman, and then completely and utterly fails, humiliates himself, almost dies, and he had to kind of reassess. It put into perspective how weak he is. But then everything around us, he's super freaking strong. So, I don't know. I know that the Grand Line wasn't that, where they failed and had to leave. At least not yet.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen.
But I feel like that moment was kind of, for Zoro at least, was one of those moments.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I can get behind that.
That's why Zoro Mihawk was my number 2.
You gotta try this.
I gotta eat some food.
Oh, I want some.
Hold on.
Bring me. Okay.
Do you like it?
Well, while he's away, let's talk about.
Holy Hannah, that's delicious!
That was quick. What is it?
It was just a bite. Wow! That is a mushroom pasta unlike any other.
Ew.
Way to interrupt the flow of the show. That was so good.
There you go.
Mushrooms.
Absolutely.
If you don't like mushrooms, hit that subscribe. Like the video.
Do whatever. The thing is, Kelly doesn't like mushrooms either, and she loved it. It's like a mushroom sauce on a pasta. So it's not like straight mushrooms.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Were you saying something?
No.
I think you were, but that's fine. I definitely still had my headphones in and you were definitely saying something. But I'm assuming you were carrying on the show because sometimes I just up and leave, folks.
It's true.
It's happened a couple times. I think we're on to your number 1.
My number 1 least favorite moment, and I know you're gonna probably have something to say about this.
I know I will. There hasn't been a single Luffy moment yet, so I'm ready for it.
My number 1 least favorite moment, Luffy walks away.
Luffy walks away?
Yes.
What, from the backstory?
Yes.
I'm not surprised. I knew that. This had your feathers so ruffled. Your scales so... What's a shark pun? I don't know.
Do sharks have scales? I don't think so.
Your fins so finicky.
Flippered.
I'm not surprised. I expected this entirely to be on the list. I'm not even surprised it's number 1. I just, yes, I feel differently about it. Where you see Luffy being, you know, I'll let you you say your side first. You say your side first.
So Luffy and a couple other people arrive on the island. Their intentions are to get Nami from the Arlong people back onto their crew so they can go to the Grand Line. They arrive. Instead, they find that Nami is in cahoots with the Arlong people. It's this big drama thing. But before anything else, they meet Nami's sister. Not Bellamere.
Nojiko.
Nojiko.
I'm getting better with names. Look at that.
Before anything happens, they meet Nojiko. And she says things are not as simple as you make them out to be. It's pretty complicated with Nami. Let me tell you what's going on. And Luffy just walks away. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what's going on with Nami. He's going to go for a walk. All this interesting, intriguing thing, all these intriguing things are going on this island to flesh out who Nami is and what makes her tick. And he just walks away because he wants to go for a walk. And that made me so angry that this is the main character. I hated it to my core. This was when I knew that there's something amazing would have to happen for Luffy to redeem himself in my eyes.
See, now where you see this heartless dude who just wanted to go for a walk, which isn't what he wanted to do. He didn't want to go for a walk. He didn't want to hear the backstory because he already had full confidence in Nami 100%.
He
without
had
issue.
No idea what was happening. He just got there.
He didn't need to. He already trusted her. He already had confidence in her. He already believed that she was doing what she needed to do and that they would wrap it up. And that
the information he had was that Nami stole his ship and treasure, went to this island, and is with the pirates.
Is that not telling of Luffy's character? He's very
That he's an idiot?
Well, yes, he is an idiot. But one thing Luffy does well is he's very good at reading people and making first judgments. So
I disagree.
He will meet somebody.
I disagree because later in this same series, he sees Zoro amidst bodies of people that fed him, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill my crewmate because of this."
So
I'm not even gonna ask what happened. I'm gonna kill him.
So I agree that I hated that moment. If we want to get into that, I agree that I hated the moment. I think it was a fan service thing. I really do. I genuinely think they probably were like, hey, Oda, we should do this because everybody wants to see Luffy and Zoro fight, and then Oda's hands were tied, and so we had to include it. I genuinely think that's how it went down. However, I think Luffy wasn't actually gonna kill Zoro. I think it was like a metaphorical, like you're gonna kill your brother, right? You get in a fight with Yari and you say, "I'm gonna kill you," but they're pirates, so they definitely fight.
I don't think Luffy's mind
is
is wrinkly enough to understand metaphors.
What?
I don't think his brain is wrinkly enough to understand metaphors.
He just said, "I'm gonna kill you," angrily, and that's because. So this is how it was presented to me. Again, I still don't love this scene. I'm with you on this one. I don't love this scene. I don't think it does Luffy's character justice either. And I do think it takes away from this moment that we're talking about on Arlong Park. But all of these people had taken Luffy in. They had fed him. They had given him food. They had a party, a lot of fun, which Luffy loves. You know, and then when he woke up and he found out that Zoro had murdered all of these people who had given their hospitality, it pissed him off. But I do think it's a great injustice to Luffy's character for him to assume the worst in Zoro. I'll say that. I think it goes against Luffy's character and it goes against this moment. So ignoring that, I'm writing it off as a fan service thing because I hate that fucking moment too. It was some weird fan service thing. I want to believe Oda didn't think it through or he was forced into it. I don't know for sure, but that brings me peace of mind. In this case, in the Arlong Park arc, he time and time again showed that he had an unwavering confidence in Nami, even though nobody else did, even though she had done all these horrible things to him, he still had absolute certainty that she was a good person and that she was handling the situation. And so he didn't need to hear her backstory. He didn't want to hear it because it wouldn't make a difference. He already had full confidence in her. If anything, the backstory might make him hate her more. Maybe he doesn't want to hear it because he's, I don't know, worried about what it's going to be. Where you see this heartless dude, I see the exact opposite. In a captain who has full confidence in his crew, unwavering confidence in Nami. And is that not the exact opposite? If I was like, Esteban, I believe in you so much, no matter what you do, I will always believe in you.
And then I say, let me tell you something about myself, and you walk away.
You didn't tell me. Somebody else was going to tell me.
If I heard
somebody who might have a biased opinion.
If I heard that someone came up to you and wanted to tell you something very telling about me, and you just walked away, I'd be a little hurt.
What if somebody walked up and said, hey...
should he be the captain of this helm? Like, should he be really the leader of this group? I'm not so sure anymore.
What if somebody came up and said, hey, Wade's not the person you think he is. You want me to tell you why? I'll tell you all the details as to why he's not the person that you think he is. Would you listen? A part of me, you would listen.
Yeah.
See, for some reason you're like really fucking quiet. Maybe it's me. I have you turned up all the way, but you're like really like extra quiet.
I'd be curious as to what they had to say.
But
I want to know everything about you, Wade.
So
you're my best friend.
I mean, I get it, but that's not Luffy's character.
Yeah, you're right. He's an idiot who doesn't give any regard to the people around him. He doesn't care about those closest to him. He just does what he wants, when he wants, what interests him, and he wanted to go for a walk.
This is where you've dug the hole that you are too stubborn to come out of.
You dug a ladder that you're too prideful to walk down.
Reading between the lines, I'm assuming that the story was created in a way that, like... So when something like that happens, I don't assume it's just Oda like, oh, this will be random and goofy and stupid.
That's exactly what I assume.
I know it is, and that's the problem. I assume he's actually a good writer who is making choices based on the characters he's created. I don't assume it's random. I assume there's a reason behind it, and so therein, I find the reason.
I think what you just said really defines the difference between us. You assume he's a good writer and welcome any moments that prove that. I assume that he technically can write the same way that I can write. I want him to prove to me that he's a good writer. I'm waiting for him to prove it. You've already assumed that he is.
I mean, has he not proved it yet for you?
No, I hate Luffy.
I'm not saying Luffy, I'm saying Oda as a storyteller.
As a storyteller, there are moments within One Piece that are like, oh, that was pretty good. There are also at least an equal amount of moments where I'm like, that was pretty dumb. I could have done it better, but there were probably more clever ways to go about that solution. Mm-hmm. We talked about the one that stands out in my mind is that Catman guy.
For
Kuro.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's perfect. I don't hail him as a deity. But in this situation, reading Luffy's character, I think it made sense. He didn't want to know. He didn't have any interest in knowing what goes on behind closed doors because he already trusted Nami.
Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. Hold on. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt and that you are right. That makes me angry. Like, that's the character that Luffy is. That's not the character that I want to see leading, like, anything.
You don't want to see a leader who believes in his crew.
I don't want to see a leader who disregards his crew like that.
He didn't disregard her.
He did
the exact opposite,
He did the exact opposite of what you're saying, which is the exact opposite.
No, he did not disregard her. He had somebody else coming in saying, like, I'm going to change your mind about who Nami is. He already knew who Nami was.
No, he didn't.
Yes.
We are going to disagree with this till the end of the time. Give me
did,
your number
though.
one. Give me your number one. We're coming. We're running out of time.
I forgot I had a number one. My number one was Nami's backstory slash, which I Nami's backstory slash like the right thereafter where Luffy and crew kind of make their walk to Arlong Park. That whole segment.
Yeah.
So Nami's backstory, one, again, super emotional. Great backstory. I know you loved it, regardless of what Luffy
really
did.
good.
I know you really liked the backstory itself.
Yeah.
And so, again, it was like Sanji elicited an emotion in me, and then Nami's backstory was like the first moment where I realized, like, it was just different. It was a completely different beast at this point. The amount of emotions I felt was unlike anything. It was the moment where I was like, I'm gonna watch all of One Piece. When I first watched it through, I was like, I'm gonna do it. This was great. I thought this was great storytelling. I felt for the character. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, you get all the emotions, and then immediately well, not immediately, but then after following and having Luffy put the hat on her, and like then the crew walking up to Arlong Park, I can feel it. It had a presence to it that was just really well done. Her like stabbing herself repeatedly, clearly in pain. That whole segment I thought was near perfection. I loved it.
It was really good. I'll give you that.
So, that's it. I've winded myself at your heartlessness.
My heartlessness.
It's, that's it, everybody. You got anything else? We're 50 minutes in. I'm fine with this being a quick hit.
Yeah, doesn't need to be longer than it needs to be.
So,
I
do have some honorable mentions.
Okay, shoot through.
I would like to rally off real quick. We don't have to talk about them, but I'd like to put them out there. Igaram getting nuked. Loved that moment.
Me too, actually. Me too.
And it was so out of the blue. I just remember being like, "What the fuck?" It was another like Zoro Mihawk moment where like, "What in the hell is going on here?" Zoro killing all the fishermen. That was just a cool moment. Again, showcasing his power. Usopp getting the living shit beat out of him by Chew, the fish man. Love it. Always love to see it. And then the Wapole fusion. Dead serious. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard reading a comic than when those dudes came out on each other's backs strapped together in a belt. That was the that was the funniest shit. The fight, I agree, pretty lackluster, but that moment, I fucking laughed out loud.
Let me throw some honorable mentions of things that I hated.
Okay.
Buggy saying, I'm so angry I can't even fart. Let's go with, man, that one just really takes the spotlight. I had like three.
How do you even remember this?
How do you forget something like that?
That's fair.
Things. Man, I had three while you were talking, but that's the only one that I can remember.
Damn, it's too bad. It's too bad.
Drop down your favorite and least favorite moments in One Piece up to Alabasta in the comments.
Yeah. So Alabasta's coming up in January. Leave a comment down below. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you hate this guy.
Or if you think I got a point in some things, please.
They won't.
I know.
Coming to terms. I know. No, sometimes you do have good points. This just isn't one of them. That just wasn't one of them. Yeah. So we'll be back. We're gonna take a 2-week break. Well, We're going to be back on, let's say, are you good 29th of December? Does that seem fair? After Christmas? Or maybe either the 29th or the 5th of January.
Yeah, one of those. One of those,
depending. And we're going to be starting the Alabasta arc, and it's going to be a good one. We love
Hopefully.
you guys very much. You got any last words?
Luffy sucks, but I'm glad you're watching.
That's not how you get him to stay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.